Creon responded with outrage and an intimidating combat-hardened flotilla. Varuna's battle-wise leader, Karena, had no desire to confront the unknown strength of Creon so soon after a devastating war. She ceded the northwestern island of Kaura to Creon control, ostensibly as a gesture of peace. But the people of Kaura rose up in spontaneous rebellion against the iron hand of their new masters, even as the voice of their new colonial ruler was heard throughout the land.
People of Kaura, rejoice! Your bondage to the vile superstitions of magic is ended, and an age of reason and enlightenment is begun. Join us, and the streets will be paved with Creon gold. Defy us, and they'll be cobbled with bones.
But the rebels would have none of it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Play the Iron Plague. I'm your host, Nerus, and this is Chapter 3, Join Us! And this is the first mission where we get to play as Creon. Now, despite the fact that Creon is totally overpowered bullshit, this mission is still going to be hard as balls. Get used to that. This mission is hard as balls is a running theme in Iron Plague. So what we've got here is the Creonian scout unit, the Barnstormer. We saw them cut a bit previously. And Barnstormers are men in ridiculous flying contraptions. As you can see, they are a fair bit larger than the scouts used by most other nations, but to compensate for that, they also are a bit tougher. Barnstormers can sustain quite a lot of injury for a scout, although I'm pretty sure, yeah. Barnstormers are also really hard to hit. I don't actually know why they're so hard to hit. I think it might be just because there's some weird targeting going on, but they're really hard to hit. The targeting AI has real difficulty hitting Barnstormers. As we can see here. So, as we can also see, there is a shit ton of stuff. And we got our mans. Excellent. Creon has access to a number of units, and what we have here is a large force of the Creon basic ground unit, the automaton. Automatons
I'll advance the cause.
are robots with hammers, 2 hammers in fact, and they are basically tough zombies.
That's easy for you.
And unlike zombies, they're actually quite useful, because Creon does not have a unit that better fills that role. They are pretty good melee units for their cost, although as you can see they are kinda slow. They're relatively tough, they do a reasonable amount of damage, they're okay.
Arrival pending.
The best advantage of automatons is actually not something that is readily noticeable, and indeed I won't be able to show off their major advantage for quite a while, so we will get to that later. But let's talk about these guys here briefly. These guys are shock troopers.
I can't wait.
We will see them quite frequently because they are, like, Cave Dogs seem to think that shock troopers were the basic Creon ranged unit, so they show up a lot when a Creon needs a ranged unit. Despite the fact that they are in fact Academy troops, that is to say Tier 2 troops. And as you can see, they have little lightning backpacks and Tesla guns, and they shoot bolts of lightning. And those bolts of lightning do quite a lot of damage.
Have you ever carried one of these?
And what we have here is the fire wagon. And I think you can probably guess what fire wagons do, but we'll show it off anyway. Yeah, they breathe fire on things. Fire wagons are half of what makes Creon's Tier 1 stuff amazing. Now, we won't get to see the other half because Cave Dog decided that they should hamstring Creon a bit at first. But fire wagons are the all-terrain murderers. Oh dear.
Arrival
That was a cannon.
Arrival pending.
They can shoot both flying things and non-flying things. And that is useful because the other half of Creon's amazing tech weapon, ground, cannot shoot flying things.
I'll advance the car.
Okay, I'm getting shot at by a cannon from somewhere. Maybe it was just those guys. Huh.
Seeking location.
Okay. Let's have shock troopers go up there and take out that. And fire wagons can go take out that. And we'll put a smithy down here where it's nice and safe. Now, as you can see, we have access to all three Creon defensive structures, which is nice, except this isn't really a turtling mission, so they're not that useful. Now, Creon, because they are nominally different from all the others and don't use mana, well, they do use mana, they just use it differently. They treat mana as magic oil, and to hammer that point home, they construct mana refineries, which are pretty obviously just steampunk oil derricks. And the mana refineries suck mana out of the ground exactly like a lodestone. Because that's what they are, they're lodestones, except they look funny. Let's have that mechanic go over there and build some stuff. Actually, yes, we remember that there are towers up there. We're safe here. And a bunch more mans. As you can see, we end up with quite a few mans.
This thing is heavy.
Now, the other guys we've got here are mechanics. And mechanics are the best builders in the game, because, you know, Creon. Now, the thing about mechanics is that they have
One of these?
two weapons, kind of like a spellcaster. Except if you are paying sort of close attention there, you may notice something about mechanics that they don't have. Specifically a mana bar. And you might be wondering what these two weapons are. Taser and freeze beam. They sound kind of odd. Actually, let's keep him back here just for safety. Well, taser is a lightning bolt. And it does a pretty reasonable amount of damage, and I believe it also temporarily paralyzes anything it targets. Freeze beams, on the other hand, are basilisk shots. Yes, that's right. One hit kill on any fleshy thing, basilisk shots. Creon's mechanics have instant kill freeze beams with unlimited ammo and no recharge time. Now, the freeze beams won't work on mechanical things, like buildings, thank God. But holy fucking shit! What were you thinking, Cave Dog? What were you thinking? So, unlike pretty much every other builder in the game, mechanics are totally legitimate combat units. You guys want to shoot those? Oh dear God! That was some friendly fire. Now, there is a downside to shock troopers, which we will be seeing at some point. And that downside has to relate to having a big backpack full of electricity and standing too close to each other. Some of you have probably already guessed what the downside is. And what we saw there was another of the new Varunan units. Now, someone corrected me in the thread. What? Oh dear God. That's no good. That's no good at all. Someone corrected me in the thread that the lighthouse was not in fact a Iron Plague unit. The lighthouse is in fact a downloadable content unit, and I believe all the downloadable content units were also included in Iron Plague. And this is another downloadable content unit for Varuna, the Mer Warrior. It's an amphibious guy. You know what? Yeah, hang out there. Mer Warriors are kinda slow on land, not super amazing, but in water they're quite quick. And they do a fair amount of damage. And now let's see the mechanics with their freeze beams in action. Yep. It's a builder unit. Yep. Oh, Cave Dog. What were you thinking, you mad sons of bitches? Now here you can also see the unfortunate downside of Creon's, oh dear, defensive structures. Ah! The bastions are angry. Unfortunate downside of Creon's defensive structures, because they do not have a guard tower with a man standing on top of a tall tower.
That's easy for you to say.
Oh dear.
That's easy for you
Their
to say.
line of sight is kind of not great. Go fly circles around those bastions and distract them for a bit, would you? That was unexpected. So as you may have guessed, we're going to be making our armies primarily consisting of fire wagons. I don't really like automatons that much. I mean, they're okay units. I can see where they have a place in Creon's army. They're useful in multiplayer,
Hang on.
just not in single player. The main purpose of automatons is basically the same purpose that zombies, which is blocking, and you just don't need to block all that much in single player. Because you can usually just murder everything with large chunks of ranged units, way before anything gets close enough to worry about blocking. There are exceptions. We will get to those.
Hang on. Seeking location.
Oh, and they're going to block that mechanic. Interesting that there's a thing out there, since I
Commencing.
Yeah, I can't build any C units. Whoa. Interesting. So that's where the merman came from. Now, it did say that they would leave once enough of them were killed, so maybe I just need to keep killing enemies,
Have you
and
ever
then
carried one of these?
once a number of enemies are dead, I will just win. I do not know. We will see. I lied, I will build automatons. Get my scouting up. The downside of shock troopers is they are kinda bad for friendly fire. And Bruno apparently does not want to come much closer than that. Now, as you can see, one of the notable things about a lot of Creonian units is because they are vehicles with turreted weapons, they can move while firing. And look, that one's got little bronze pumpy arms.
Status dead.
Okay, let's burn some mans. I'll leave the shock troopers back here because we can't replace them. Fire wagons do not appear to do significant damage to buildings. We may need to bring the shock troopers along just to knock down the structures. On the bright side, they burn wood structures right good. I've used the targeting AI. No, not the gold one. Oh, they're both gold, but oh well.
Seeking location.
Oh, this seems to be going rather well. Appears it is time to torch some more Barunans.
You ever carried one of these?
Oh, can I? Ah. Now this is the downside to the freeze beam. It does not actually work on certain certain powerful units. I don't know if it... No, it does work on some tier 2 units, so it's not just a tier thing. I think it might be a hit point thing, perhaps.
Seeking location. Status dead.
Onward to glory!
Should be approaching victory soon.
Commencing.
Out of my way!
Hey, there's some structures to burn. Hey, gold automaton. Great big gold pauldrons. Looks like we've got a nice big reinforced base up here. And as you can see, fire wagons have a slight downside of collateral damage on death. However, they do not leave behind rubble, which is actually kind of handy. As without rubble you left behind, you do not have any annoying wreckage fields that you have to
I'll
navigate.
advance the cause!
Status dead.
That's easy for you to see.
Right, I need another smithy for barnstormers. And I don't actually have
that's
enough
easy
mana
for you to
income to
see.
build that right now. And apparently Windows cannot activate. Oh no, the horror. troopers are pretty good. I'm fond of them.
I cannot fail, Osage.
Hey, let's change the groupings a bit. And yeah, we'll put up a mirror. Why not? Send him up to do that. Bzzzt. Shock troopers, as you can see, do quite a lot of damage. They are very much glass cannons. They have very long range and do a lot of damage, but trebuchet ship. But very, very fragile to return fire. Alright. This should look a bit better. This time they will join us. Or die. Probably die. And the prismatic mirror can do its thing. It may not, in fact, get a chance to do its thing. Oh no, it will. Oh. Nope, it won't. Oh, that was a shot. Hey! Prismatic mirror killed the thing. That's nice. Guess the mirror can't quite reach that far. That's a pity.
You ever carry one of these?
Yes, this will do the trick. Ah, beautiful. no! I am under attack from behind! Can you guys freeze berserkers? Yes, you can.
Run, run! Run, run! Run, run!
Hey! I'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Run!